Grew up in New York, about an hour north of New York City in Westchester County, a small town called Yorktown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And rural, or affluent rural, or what was it like? I think Westchester County.
It is a more middle-income town in a affluent county. So kind of interesting place to be there.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And rural, suburban?
Suburban.
Okay.
Yeah, suburb of New York City. Everyone who lives in my town at one point lived in New York City.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And moved here for school?
Moved here for school.
Great.
Yes.
And then out of Boston University, you got a job on the Cape, is that right?
Yep. Yeah. Great. Went to Cape Cod, worked at the Enterprise papers covering Upper Cape, which was great. So interesting. I learned so much there. Got a better understanding of Massachusetts outside of just the Boston area, because that's where I went to school. So yeah, that was a really good experience.
So you've been at the State House News Service for how long now?
A little over 4 months, 4.5 months.
Great.
Yeah.
And what's been the biggest surprise of covering the State House?
I think just seeing how the sausage gets made has been the most surprising. Yeah, I don't think I realized before all of the steps and processes something had to go through to get to finally being on the governor's desk. I think I had a general idea, but seeing things bounce back and forth between committees, that sort of thing, that was new to me. So that was surprising to just see all of it in action. Yeah.
What you've been exposed to a lot of different policy areas, covered a lot of different things. Do you have a favorite, or are you beginning to develop a favorite area to cover?
Yeah, I've always really enjoyed covering development and housing. I also quite like transportation. But in my past experience on the Cape, it was a really different conversation around development than it is here in the Boston area. Yeah. So getting to see the differences in the way people around the state talk about how much development they want in their areas, conversations around gentrification and economic development. I find that to be really fascinating.
Yeah, and of course it does differ depending on the part of the state that's having the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, affordable housing one place, and land conservation.
Yep.
Actually, economic development in other places.
Yeah.
And what's your least favorite area to cover? It's okay to admit it. We all have it.
I haven't had to cover this, but I'm terrified about having to cover the Gaming Commission.
Oh, I see. All right.
Thankfully, that's Colin's area, but
great. Sure, you do great.
I don't know much about that, so I'd have to do a lot of research first.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Is there something that you know that you don't like, or it doesn't grab you? For me, it was actually tended to be environmental issues.
I think I can't think of anything that I kind of drag my feet when I have to cover it.
Okay.
I think since I'm still so new, I'm excited about everything that gets thrown at me, but I'm sure maybe in a year or two I'll have something that'll go,
we'll talk to a
not today.
Bitter and jaded Samantha Drysdale.
Yeah.
Great. And who, if anyone, you don't have to come up with someone, but who do you look up to or admire in journalism?
I do have an answer to this because I've been asked it before. Ellen Berry, I cite as my favorite journalist. She wrote a story in 2019 that I remember where I was when I started reading it, called The Jungle Prince of Delhi.
The Jungle Prince?
The Jungle Prince. It was a feature story. She was covering Southeast Asia at the time. It was just a remarkable story, amazing writing, so compelling. It was one of the first pieces of journalism that I read it and said, I would love to do something like this. And then she became the New England bureau chief, so I was reading her stuff all the time in the New York Times, and she's still such a compelling writer. And I think now she covers mental health for the Times, but I still read her stuff all the time. But I would say she's someone who, whenever I see her byline, I always click, because I always know that she'll have something interesting to say. So, yeah.
Good aspiration. All right, excellent. It's really nice to have a real target and one that is inspiring. You know,
Yeah.
and it's done great work.
Yeah.
All right.
She's great.